Okay, so I think we're pretty good to start. Hello, everyone. And it looks like we have today 41 people joining us. That's really exciting. Thank you very much for your time today. So this is the first customer webinar we're doing, and the goal of this webinar is to provide information for our potential customers and everyone who consider purchasing our technology and our equipment for their construction needs and construction business. And so we're going to do more webinars like this, and the duration today is going to be 30 minutes. We try to keep it short but informative. And you can also post your questions in the Q&A session. We will try to answer questions during the webinar, but if, for example, we don't have time to address all of the questions, we will have them later, and we will try to send the answers by email. It may take a bit time because we're pretty time strapped today with all of the things happening, so we will appreciate in advance your patience on that. And important information about this customer webinar. We're doing this first time, and specifically the promotion. Everyone who attend the webinar today, they will receive 2,500 credits towards the purchase of the printer or renting the printers in the future. And we will cover more about the options that are available today and that we are considering to announce and get available in the future. So if you registered for this webinar, you will receive the email about this 2,500 credit. We also do the recording of this webinar. So if you registered or somebody registered but didn't make it today, no problem. We will send out the recording of that. And so today I'm here with Trevor Ragnow, who all the time was with all of the webinars so far. You're probably really familiar with his face. And he is our Director of Construction Technologies. And we also, hey, Trevor. And we also have Milton Kobus today. Milton is our Director of Sales. He joined us in January, and we're really excited about working with him, and he's a great asset to our team. And he will be the main resource of information today, and really happy to finally introduce Milton to all of our customers and our network. Hey, Milton. Milton, you muted.
Welcome to all.
Yeah, now we hear you. Perfect. And so today, the structure of this webinar is basically most of the time Milton gonna talk. I'm gonna ask him some questions, so it's more like the panel discussion type of thing. And then Trevor also will provide some additional information about the 3D printed houses, how they can be permitted. So basically, some of the really basic information for potential customers to know more about how to actually deploy the technology for your needs, not just to get the printers. And Milton, how about you give us the brief introduction about yourself and your previous experience and why you're here today?
Well, thank you, Anna, for that warm introduction. I've got a long career in automation and new disruptive technologies. When I saw the posting when Anna was looking for a recruit, I already understood this industry, and I know exactly how important it is to transform construction business, okay? Because if you look at McKinsey Institute did a study over the last 70 years, and in agriculture, they've improved about 16 times, and manufacturing about 8, but construction's been relatively stagnant in terms of gaining efficiencies. I want to be somebody to help change the world. And of course, I'm reaching out to you as attendees because we need your help to make it happen. So I'm here to serve you. I'm here to make you successful, and I'm here to transform business so that we can add more productivity, value, and improve a lot of issues that are happening right now in the construction industry with material delays, workforce issues, et cetera. And I think that with the technology that Apus Core has, we certainly can make dramatic changes in the world of building houses.
Perfect, thank you. And you've been here for a while. You already talked to a lot of people who inquired about our printers. And so what do you hear so far from these potential customers? Who are they, what they do as a construction business, and why they decide to look at the new technologies and use our technology?
You know, most of the people that have reached out to me certainly have been studying this industry for a number of years. They've done a lot of homework. They've studied not only our particular product, but others. And they certainly wanted to do business with us, or because of this, they saw some distinct advantages we had. We can load our printer and our a mixer on a tandem trailer, whether it's enclosed or open. And with a 2,500 pickup truck, we've got this mobility to take it to any site very easily. Other systems they looked at were required in many cases of multiple trucks with huge systems like in the gantry style printers that they'd have to set up, have to pour pads to secure this, and take a whole team of in many cases a half dozen people. And in our case, we can start printing within 30 minutes once we arrive at a job site. So significant economy. And that was one of the reasons they certainly liked us.
Perfect, thank you. And so I know that the really common question is when the printer is going to be available. So I just started that we have the 8 months of a lead time basically needed to assemble the machine. And we also have our plan for this year to build 10 machines. So we are setting up the manufacturing capabilities right now and increasing our internal capabilities to build more machines. And so maybe Milton, you also can kind of tell us more about how many inquiries do we have today, and maybe you also can tell more about this term sheet that we signed with the customers and the refundable deposit that we also require from the people who are interested.
Well, thank you. We get an average of about 10 inquiries a day from all over the world. I mean, I get them from Eastern Europe, Western Europe, Indonesia, South America, a lot of inquiries coming from Canada. One of the things I've been doing is, though we've been advertising, you can purchase this machine directly. One of the things that a lot of customers have inquired about is, hey, I've got a partial deposit, or I'd like to lease the machine entirely. So I've been working behind the scenes over the last couple of weeks, and we're about a week to two making some announcements where we're going to have at least 3 different lenders that can provide financing or leases, in some cases, actually lease purchases, so that after a specified period of time, the ownership will be able to buy this. Now, some of you may have already received an email regarding a term sheet, and these were sent out to people that previously signed a letter of interest, or at least communicated with me since I came aboard here with interest of the printer. One of the thoughts we know we're going to have to, because of the way the economy is right now and pricing because of the inflation, we may have to raise our prices sometime this year. But those participants who signed the term sheet will have locked in pricing through the end of 2023. In addition, by signing that term sheet, we're also allowing you time to obviously get your funding in order and also allowing us time to work on your behalf by finding lenders that can certainly provide the needed capital for you to actually invest and buy in this. So those are some of the considerations with that term sheet. You weren't randomly sent that. You were sent it with instructions. Either you signed the LOI or you had previous interest, and certainly we'd like you to proceed further and get that sent to us. So that'll be very important for us as we go to our next phase of raising capital.
Yeah, exactly. And, maybe some sort of additional information about the sales and leasing, because sometimes we have these questions like, what should I do, like a purchase or lease the machine? So just to be clear that sales of the machines that we do offering right now, that you can purchase the machine directly, that's most likely going to be pretty limited offer, because we ultimately going to transition to our renting business model that we always were stating about, and the business model that we always were about. With the renting and leasing, it's something that's going to be available a little bit later. We're going to have first machine available for leasing. It's basically short-term rent. When you, for example, have the project and you don't consider purchasing the machine, but you would love to use it for like a specific project, for example, that's most likely going to be available later this year. And then starting next year, we're going to have more machines for that. However, we see both interest from the companies who want to purchase it and those who would love to wait a little bit and rent the machine out. So maybe, Milton, you also can talk a bit about that, why people typically saying like, why some of the people want to purchase the machine and why some of them more opt out to renting the machine.
I think one of the reasons we're going to have a couple machines available by the later this year is we had some early participants who actually were buying these machines, but they were in northern climate markets like in Canada. Come November, it's not probably a good construction time to do work in Canada. So they're willing to order the machine now, and then for the next couple, maybe for up 4 to 5 to 6 months, they would rent it to people somewhere else in the lower states that could certainly make use of that machine. Obviously, it's a business case on your part, which direction you want to go. Obviously, I think the bottom line is by you having a machine, regardless whether it's leased or purchased, you're actually being part of that revolution as we transform the construction industry. And I think that's the great message that you would have, because once every machine or every property that we print, whether it's a commercial property or whether it's a residential house, obviously you're resonating a message to the marketplace. The big thing about construction that we do, there's about 99% of all the materials that we use are put in the actual usage. There's very little waste. When you compare to normal construction, you've got a huge amount of waste, and a lot of our landfills are filled up with this from construction waste. We will not have that issue. And the other thing, obviously, is the concurrency of moving multiple trades at the same time in your business processes at the construction site are going to be very valuable to you. It's going to bring value to you personally, your company, as well as delivering value to your end users. So I'm certainly really excited, regardless of what method you use to secure a machine. We're here to help you.
Yeah, that sounds exactly what Episcore is pursuing to do, and how we going to support our customers. And I also would love to add a small remark about the type of customers we are looking for this first batch. It's definitely early adopters, and early adopters means that you understand that it's going to be a learning curve. You understand that it's going to be some additional investment to successfully adopt it in your processes. However, Episcore here is to help with this adoption process by providing technical support, by providing maintenance, by providing education, helping with the G-code creation and generation. And we're really excited about people that we already have with us. They really close to place the order for their first machines, and we're really excited about working with them. And one of the also common question is, I purchased the machine, and what happens if something doesn't go well, for example. So first of all, the constant maintenance that needed for the machine, it's mostly related to the parts which are in a constant contact with the concrete. It's mixing chambers, mixing pumps, and part of the extruder. However, we designed those parts in the way that they can be very easy and quickly replaced. They all built with the polyurethane. It's kind of like the rubber parts, and we learned it in a hard way how to really quickly change them and fix them. So fortunately, we internally in Episcore, and a lot of doing all of our projects, we really learned a lot of hard things, and we don't want our customers to experience the same. So we incorporated a lot of improvements and a lot of solutions that will make our machines really user-friendly, and also really friendly for the maintenance and service. This is more about the standard course of use of the machines. But let's say if something happens with the machine, we first do the remote diagnostic, so we can remotely connect to the machine and see what happens. And most of the time, it's really software that we can very quickly fix remotely, or we can identify the part that, for example, need to be replaced. And we also have a lot of all of our vendors who supply the really critical parts of the printer. We are in a very good relationships with them, and they actually going to have the stocking agreement with us. So we may have all of the critical parts really quickly available in our disposal. So for example, our technician, after after we diagnosed the machine remotely, we know what exact part need to be replaced, and then our technician will just fly down to your location and quickly replace it. What I want to assure you that Episcore is here to also successfully support you during the using of the equipment. It's not just we send you the equipment and then you figure out this your own way. No, it's not about us. We really want our first early adopters and all of the customers that we are going to have in future successfully use the equipment. And we here to share what we learned so far, and basically provide really quick technical support for the maintenance and repairing or whatever happens. And also with the purchase, we include 50 G codes for free. So that means that we're going to be helping you to create G-code for your first projects. But basically, as you go through the process and you see how it works, how to create G-code, after some period of practice, you will not need us. But again, we understand that it's new technology and it's going to be some transition and learning curve for you to understand even really simple processes with the machine that for us, we say like, oh, it's simple. But we understand that for people who just started using our technology, it's not that simple. But again, we know how to educate, how to train, and even something that like a completely new problem, let's say, in terms of the designing or G-code generation. We have really hard and extensive experience, so we can quickly identify the course for the solution. So this is more about the technical support and maintenance, because I know that it's very common question that customers really think about firstly, once they think about the purchasing the machine. And now about the leasing option, if you more interested in renting the machine in the future, and we kind of like call it leasing and renting, but in the reality, it's going to be when you rent the machine from Episcore, you're not going to possess it. Episcore is going to be the owner, and we're going to possess our machines, but you will be able to rent it out. If you're interested in that option and you want to join the wait list of the companies who want to use it in the future, after the webinar, we will send out all of the instructions how to sign the term sheet if you want to purchase the machine, or if you want to reserve the spot in the wait list. Because again, we're going to have a pretty limited number of machines for the renting. So we try to collect this list of companies who want to start using it first. And if you join the wait list, then you're going to be first who will be considered for the machines that we're going to have available. We have a non-refundable $200 fee to join the wait list. It will help us to understand that you have a pretty serious intentions about that. And so, yeah, we will send all of the instructions about this later on. We know that it's a lot of questions to make a decision about purchasing the machine. And this webinar does not intend to give you all of the information about that. It's more about to introduce us, to introduce Milton, quickly talk about where we are today with this, and why other companies consider buying the equipment. And if you want to proceed further with the discussion about all of the options, Milton Kobus is the person who will be happy to proceed further with all of the discussions with you, and provide all of the information we have that you need to know before really commit to the purchase or renting, for example. So yeah, now you know that how Milton looks like, in case you will need to find him. And so we have only 8 minutes left. So I just wanted to give this time to Trevor to cover quickly also one of the common questions about how to get the 3D printed houses permitted, because we do understand it's an important part for our customers to use the technology. How to print the building in the larger sections, for example, and maybe quickly about how to create the G code, how to design the houses. But again, it's going to be pretty quick information, and we do have the online courses, like a really long lasting online courses about that, and we will send you all of the information about that as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Anna. Yes, I'm Trevor Ragnow. I'm the Director of Construction and Building Technologies. My background's in mostly commercial construction, done office, retail, multifamily, mixed use, self-storage, and really learned a lot on those construction sites and throughout those projects about what's kind of wrong with the construction industry, and seeing how much things like labor really affect the ability to deliver projects. Again, I'll keep this really quick, but in our past, we've had a lot of experience using these 3D printers and can help share some of that knowledge, building some of the world's most recognizable 3D printed buildings, the world's largest 3D printed building, and on permitting, which we'll talk about, the first commercially permitted 3D printed building in America. In case you're, I know most people here might be familiar with traditional construction. Human error, nobody's perfect, and there's a lot of errors on the job site, but with the robot, they really follow the plans very well. You get very superior quality. This isn't wood, it's not flammable, it's moisture and mildew resistant, and termites won't eat it. And it's also 33% stronger than concrete blocks, so a really great material. A lot of delays out there on construction sites in the traditional world, but with 3D printed construction, one, we know down to the minute how long it's going to take to print a home before we ever set foot on site. But also, once on site, we're printing these buildings about 9 times faster than the average block crew. Of course, as Milton mentioned earlier, there's a lot of waste with traditional construction, a lot of scrap, and a lot that ends up in the landfill. This is essentially zero waste. It's all electric, and the print material is fully recyclable. Also, you see a lot of buildings out there, straight lines, hard corners. Really, now we can print a curved wall just as affordably and quickly as those kind of boring boxes that you see all over the place. Again, we have this all recorded, so I'm just going to breeze through this slide. This is some information on the printer itself and the mixer here. So if you're watching the replay here, feel free to pause on these slides. All right, so Frank is a truly amazing machine. Big thing that stands out to me always is the print quality. I've seen a lot of prints from other machines out there, and when it comes down to it, once the printer leaves the site and everybody packs up and goes home, the material and how it's printed is what is left out there. This is the home that's being sold. So being able to really get some good, consistent, really beautiful walls, it's really important, not just from the aesthetics, but also the cost perspective. It's easier to finish out walls when they're made very accurately. Now, we get the difference between traditional construction and printers, but what about printers versus other printers? Most other printers out there are gantry printers, kind of CNC machines on steroids. Now, these machines are massive. As Milton mentioned earlier, really difficult to transport, oftentimes with semi-trucks, sometimes multiple semi-trucks. And of course, a single person can drive our printer, mixer, and really everything you need to print to the site with a standard pickup truck. When it comes to setup, once you're on site, we're able to easily drive off the printer, get positioned, calibrated, and start printing in as little as 30 minutes using, only one operator to do that. We don't need large construction cranes and a big crew and extra concrete footers and all these other things that are kind of hidden costs the gantry printers need. When it comes to operation, it's not just a printer that we have here. It's a printer, a mixer, and the material delivery truck. This is an ecosystem that all works together. So we don't need all these operators to monitor the printer and the mixer and the material and everything else out on site. This is how we're able to reduce the manpower needed to print out there on site. And, lastly, with those gantry printers, the bigger the home, the bigger the printer. They can only really print inside the box. And we're able to print, Guinness World Record breaking buildings, these massive buildings, because we print in multiple sections. This is what that looks like. The printer rolls off the trailer, prints section 1, and then once finished can move over to section 2. Now, if you look closely, you'll notice that section 1 and 2 meet up together, and that's a control joint. These are required for building code. These are building movement joints. Typically, when you're building with concrete blocks, you have to hire a guy with a cement saw to come in and cut those manually, but we're able to automate that process and save a lot of time in other ways too. So when we talk about concurrent construction activities, this is the ability to do things like installing outlets and windows and doors and some of the plumbing fixtures, insulation, reinforcement, all these things, even during the print. Some of these things can be done while the printer is operating in your section, but once the printer moves to section 2, section 1's free and open. You can now overlap these activities, shorten overall delivery time, and time is money. You can obviously, on an overall period, really save cost here too. And lastly, we can operate multiple printers on a project. And let me show you what that looks like. In the top left of the screen here, you can see multiple printers printing the same building at the same time. That's something that we're already able to do. But if you're printing, smaller single-family homes, a single business could easily scale very quickly using multiple printers to print their own individual homes. So now on to the permitting side. Instead of, why reinvent the wall when the gold standard, the concrete block that's already out there is, really well known and being used by everyone, or being used especially throughout the Southeast, or people that want that premium type construction. Well, this approach is something pretty unique to APISCore. There's no other company out there that copies concrete block construction, and it's very important. We're essentially building the same concrete block walls, but instead of a factory making these concrete blocks that are then manually assembled, we have a machine that makes the fully assembled concrete block walls right out on the construction site. Let me show you why that's so important here. The big thing is with permitting. So we don't need new building codes because we're following the existing building codes for concrete block construction. If you look over here on the left, there's a concrete block wall, standard, normal. There's a bond beam, there's reinforcement, there's ladder wire, and all those things are incorporated into our walls with the exact same spacing in the exact same way. That's how we've been able to gain compliancy. As you can see, also published, there's the NFPA document, everything your architect or engineer needs to understand how to create construction documents. It's right out there, published online. These are things that are really, if you take a standard set of construction documents for a concrete block home, in a matter of minutes, you can convert those over to construction documents for a 3D printed home because they're literally identical. This approach makes it easy to design and work with the architects and engineers you're already familiar with. It helps with the permitting process, very easy to understand and straightforward. And it also helps out with that secondary construction process and design. On this concrete masonry unit, I know this might be the only way to make 3D printing sound boring, but there's actually a lot of different concrete blocks out there. And by copying concrete block construction, we're able to basically take things like this wall on the left that would take a very skilled mason a lot of time to build, and we can build that same thing very, very quickly and follow the same building codes while doing it. Designing these walls is also really easy. We have even on the online courses at AppyScore University and even on YouTube, we have a video published that just shows how to do this. We have plugins for AutoCAD and also for Revit, really popular design programs. These allow you to really generate a tool path. And Frank doesn't speak English, he speaks G-code, and you don't have to be a coder to know how to use these tools. And if it's something you don't want to do, don't worry. We can really help make that happen for you and design and optimize that G-code to make sure that you're able to go out and print very easily when you get out on site. Secondary construction. We have a ton of questions that come our way about, how do you reinforce these? How do you add insulation, a roof, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, windows, doors? Again, the beauty of copying concrete block construction is that everything is identical. It's all done in the exact same way. With that being said, there are some efficiencies that we can gain while the printer operator is installing some of these outlet boxes while the material's fresh, or roughing in some of these plumbing fixtures while the material's still fresh. However, when it comes down to inspection or overall build, you can still do the exact same thing that you've always done with concrete block homes, or follow those well-documented processes, or also check out AppyScore University and see some of those things that we're doing to make these processes much more efficient and faster. Here's some info on AppyScore University. I know that we're kind of pressed for time here, so I'll leave it here. But again, if you have any other questions for us, feel free to reach out to Milton. Check us out on our website, on social media, and at AppyScore University. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you, Trevor, very much. So I think that we spent maybe more couple of minutes just to address another frequently asked questions. So first, about the 3D print material. 3D print material is a part of our technology. So if you go into purchase or use our equipment, the material will be supplied by us. And first, it's needed to make sure that the end result, the 3D printed walls, are going to be safe and sound, and the material is not going to clog or stuck in the equipment, and there is no damage on that. We have some flexibility about the use of the third-party materials for the only first purchases of the printers, and it's something that we typically discuss with those who are really interested, and we can be flexible for the first customers in terms of the 3D print material. However, we do highly recommend to follow our instructions on the material, and it's not something that you can purchase on the ready-mix factory. We don't use ready-mix concrete. It's completely different material. It's not for 3D printing at all. We the material that we use is dry mortar, basically the same material that used for the flooring or plastering. You can the closest alternative, or like a similarity to that, is the 50-pound Quikrete material that you can find in Home Depot. Then you mix it with water and use for the paving or something like that. So these are dry mortars. Our material basically looks the same, and it's produced on the same factories. It's a dry mortar factories. And these processes are also, it's not that, I have my friend running the dry mix mortar plant, he's going to produce the material for me. It's also really important how you source the materials, how you do the quality controls at that batching plant. And batching plants are something that have been existed for a lot of years. It's not something that we invent. So this is why it's really easy to incorporate in the process. However, for those who purchase the machines, part of the purchase package, it's our work to find the local batching plant if we don't have our batching plant there, and qualify that batching plant to make sure that they really can produce the material according to our requirements. This is how we can assure that the quality of the 3D printed houses can be the same as we already demonstrated. And actually behind Milton, there is an actual 3D printed wall. So when we show the quality of our walls, it's not just because of the 3D printer, it's also the material science behind that. And all of the experience that we gather so far to get that quality of the 3D printed walls. So short answer is that the material can be sourced locally. It's mostly the question of how to set up the manufacturing and local production of that material. And EpiScore, again, gonna be here for you to make sure that you're gonna have the right material for that. There is also a question about the fiber. We don't use fiber in the material. And we did some research on that, and fiber does not really add any strength, physical purposes, qualities to the material. It kind of like prevent from some small cosmetic cracking, but it does not something that make the material more durable or stronger, for example. So we don't use that. And our material basically consists of on cement, sand, and about 10% is a secret sauce, basically components that makes the material extrudable, durable, and easy to flow, I would say. It's really simple terms how to describe that. It's much more science behind that. And all of these components, they are not toxic. They are not really some secret materials that we source from one specific vendor. These components, they already used in construction. The secret sauce, it's what exact components you use and what the ratio between them. It's basically the material mix design. And this is part of our technology. We do not disclose it. However, as a part of the purchasing package and setup process, we do organize and make sure that our material can be produced locally in your area according to our technical requirements and quality controls. This is quickly about the material. There was another question about the home designs. So because our technology is so universal, I would say, if we talk about the home designs, because as Trevor said, our houses are the same as concrete masonry unit construction, CMU built houses, concrete block houses. That means that the design is basically the same as already applied for the traditional houses built with the concrete blocks. And because we don't have limitations on the size of a house, because we have the mobile and portable equipment, that means that you can design any size of a house in terms of the square footage. And then you basically give us the construction documents, and we will help you to translate it to the Frank language. So what I'm trying to say that the way and process how to design the houses, it's completely the same. We do not change it. So this is why we want our customers to be fully creative and create whatever design they want to build. Because also sometimes the limitations it's the location, it's the size of the property, for example, or even the specific regulations for your property. You cannot build, for example, more than 1755 square feet of a house, right? So it's really some of the limitations for the design. But again, because our technology is so easy and flexible, you can just design the house and then we will translate it to the French language to 3D print it. So I think that we pretty covered everything. There are more questions coming in about the price for the printer, for the renting, for the material. Please reach out to Milton. We have a lot of information to share with you, and Milton will also guide you through the pricing. And also for the early adopters who are really supportive and understand why they do that, we also sometimes consider customized ways how we can work together. So we open to different type of cooperations, and if you have the specific project, we always open to consider that. So again, Milton is your man to discuss it. So I think that you know, we covered pretty everything, and we do have more questions in the Q&A. We will try to answer all of them by email. But again, it can take some time, and we are really sorry about that because we're really busy. But we will try to answer them and send them as soon as possible. I think early next week. So yeah, this is everything that I wanted to say. Milton, Trevor, if you want to have some closing words, please feel free to join.
I have my number. My local number here in the US is 954-790-8643. I also have that same number on WhatsApp for our international customers that you could reach me through the WhatsApp app. Anyway, I'm here to help you. However that journey will be, please reach out. Generally, I try to get back to you the same day with a response. And if I can't answer directly, I've got the resources within our team to help me put together something and get back to you as soon as possible. But I look forward to working with you and helping you. One other comment I want to make is we're also looking, and Anna kind of mentioned it, we're open for some partnerships possibilities where, and you can discuss that with me, and if you have any ideas of how you could certainly bring value to us and help your own cause. We're willing to listen because we want to grow with you alongside of us. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.